Hi guys, Ostrom here, and today we're gonna talk about how to beat Warpal, aka Arms Warrior, and Holy Paladin comp as Demo Hpal. I wanna start a video guide series about how to win against every comp as Demo or Destruction Lock. When it comes about twos, every second team is a War Paladin. So if you are bored losing against Warpals, you are in the right place. As you can see in this video, we're gonna start from the basic like what talent or grips should you use, and we're gonna talk about some advanced tactics as well. So let's get started. At the end of the season, I had to change my talent a little bit. Although I love dissemination talent still, but we had a huge problem what we needed to fix. The problem was that against warrior paladins, it's really hard to get the demonic pact proc. The reason is that if you start hitting the warrior with your pet, usually your pet is going to get Glyph down, especially if the warrior is using revenge spec. And if you send to the paladin, then he can just fear it, send it to an awkward position where your teammate cannot dispel it, and it just wastes too much time to make our first go. And trust me, without demonic pact proc, at a certain level you won't force too much CDs out. So as you can see, I added one more talent point to the improved demonic tactics. So with that, even against the War Paladin, my pet can proc so much faster the demonic pact, so I don't need to attack the warrior at all time and pray for a proc before it gets cleaved down. The rest of my talents are the same. Glyphs. I'm using the standard arena glyphs against warrior paladins as well. I'm using the glyph of metamorphosis, the glyph of shadow flame, and the glyphs of corruption. How to win? So let's talk about how to win against the war paladins as Demo Hpal. There is two scenarios what you can do. The easier way to beat that comp is to unalive the Hpal. So let's see how you can do that. First, make a clean go with your proc and form and force Paladin's bubble. Then, make a good hodge go during the 2 minutes window and force the Paladin's trinket. And obviously, survive till you have the form back and make a clean go with your form on Paladin and win the game. It's easy as that. Or you can go warrior as well, but then you need to first force warrior's trinket, then force warrior's war, if it's possible then force berserker rage with divine sacrifice, and kite behind LOS and make a good go on him while he's LOSing his paladin. Or sometimes you can do huge damage on it and win a game with pure damage. There is a huge difference of making a good go where you can force major CDs like Trinket, Bubble or Wall, or make a bad go and you force like smaller CDs like Sacrifices, Regen or even nothing. In order to make a good go, you need to track your procs. The most important procs going to be your Trinket procs and Demonic Pact proc. You don't want to make a go before you get the demonic pact proc. You should play with Phylactery and CTS when it comes about Arena. The best case scenario is that you have Tailoring Lightweight proc, your weapon proc, the 2 Trinket proc, and even a demonic pact proc. But let's be real, this is unlikely to happen. What you should aim for that you have at least one Trinket proc and the demonic pact proc. The rest isn't matter that much. When you have your procs, you have to decide who you wanna go for. I always recommend going Paladin if you have a chance, but you can also make a go on Warrior if you can force him in a bad position. For example, behind Pillar without a Trinket. But let's say you can make a go on Paladin. Your go should look like this. Wait your procs obviously, then land the fear on Paladin, reapply your dots with your procs, try to refill and use your form, then you either wanna CS into the Paladin Hodge, or just wait for your teammate to Hodge, and then use Coil, your instance pass, and finish with your CS. And you can improvise a little bit, but basically this is going to be your burst rotation. You can use your form before your whole go. If the warrior decides to charge or intercept back, then you can reduce the stun effect on yourself, so you have the time for a refill or just a burst over during Hodge. The refill isn't as important as you might think. The reason why the refill can be really good is that you give your healer enough time to catch up, and if the warrior decides not to switch back on you, then you can just free cast before you do your burst. If you could manage to execute cleanly, Then you force the paladin's bubble or even his trinket and some other CDs as well. If you fail to do that, then you fell behind, and unfortunately, most likely you need to wait another form and start over again. Setup between forms. Basically, you have approximately 2-minute window to force the paladin's trinket as well. You will see in the positioning section how to do that exactly. Basically, you need to make a similar go than you did with the form, but here you need to cast more. Your Holy Paladin teammate can help you with Aura Mastery here. Or you can make a warrior go, but more in the positioning section. Positioning. This is the most important part of the video. I've already made a positioning guide, which is in my description, where you can look for more information if needed. Here, I want to show you in a specific matchup as a demo Hpal how to force CDs with ease simply by positioning. So as I said, our goal is to force paladins or warriors trinket and bubble and or wall. So how to do that? The warrior can either go on you, on your pet, or on your teammate. Let's start with the easier of the three. If the warrior is going on your pet, then you can just spam half funnel and wait till your pet broke the demonic pact. If the warrior doesn't want to stop tunneling your pet, you can just send your pet to max range to resummon it, and after you left combat you can mount up and push for a go. If the warrior decides to go on your Holy Paladin teammate, which is most of the time gonna happen, your teammate should drag the warriors to max range. So in that position, you're gonna stand in between the warrior and the paladin. So if the paladin wanna heal the warrior, he has to leave the pillar where you can make a go on pala. Or the warrior needs to go back, and in that moment, you can just pour back and reset. You can always combo your mount plus freedom to get a fear on Holy Paladin. If the map allows it, you and your paladin should take advantage and drag the warriors down. So the paladin needs to leave the pillar. What you can do here is either stay up, or if you are down already, you can just port up and your paladin can spam Dispel on you if the enemy paladin decides to use Hodge on you, and land the fear on paladin and make a go. If they go on you, and the maps allows it, try to drag the warriors down, port up and make a go on paladin. If the warrior decides to switch to your paladin, then once again he can jump down as well and once again just port up and land the fear. If you are playing on a neutral map, then try to drag the warrior to max range and port and reset. The reason why warriors doesn't love to go on lock, especially if they are playing with Holy Paladin, is that if you switch your armor to Demon Armor, you're basically unkillable. And when you are about to die, you can just always pour back and reset. So on Blade Edge, you can do the same what you could do on Dalaran Arena. Drag the warrior to max range, port up, and make a go on Paladin. The best case scenario if your Paladin is already on the enemy Paladin. On Ruins, you can do the same what you could do on Nagrand Arena. If the warrior is tunneling your Holy Paladin, then he can drag into the room where he gonna LOS his healer, and if you get tunneled, then you can go in the room, port when the paladin is near to your port, and make a go that way. And lastly, how to punish the warrior. So let's say the warrior used his trinket and he is tunneling your Holy Paladin. Your Holy Paladin should drag the warrior to max range and potentially behind LOS. Meanwhile, your Paladin is doing that, you are dotting up the warrior and start casting on him. In that position, the warrior either needs to charge back or the Paladin needs to leave the pillar. If the warrior is around 60 or 70% HP and he takes the bait and charge into LOS, you can port up, Paladin can use Hodge, and you finish the game with your form. The enemy Paladin has no chance to catch up there. Also, you can do that by yourself too. If the Paladin is near, then make sure that you already force the Divine Sacrifice. If not, obviously you don't need to force that. Advanced Tactics. In that section, I'm gonna give you a few tips and tricks what you can do at higher level in order to beat really good Warpals. So Holy Paladin and Lock can work really good with each other. Holy Paladin can provide you Hand of Protection, Aura Mastery, Hammer of Justice, and Seal Stun, which makes your life easier. If you wasted your trinket, paladin can just bop you to break out from every CC that warrior can do. And also, your paladin can dispel what the enemy paladin can do, like Turnover or Hammer of Justice. The paladin can just aura mastery or bop you to free cast when you're about to win the game. And paladin can still stun the enemy paladin, so you can land the fear if you are struggling to do so. So what combos you can do? Like in this clip, as you can see, I'm casting Drain Sword in our potential last go, since Paladin doesn't have bubble. And my teammate just pre-aura mastery warrior's kick so I can land the kill. The only reason why I say it's advanced, cause if you waste these CDs, you can easily fall behind. So you need to understand when and how to do so. Usually, you wanna save your bob, if possible, for your last go to avoid warrior speeding. And you wanna save your aura mastery to force paladin trinket between two form goes. During burst, you can try to purge the sacred shield with your devour magic. One more thing, you can force warrior's berserker rage out by fearing it. If you manage to do so, you can easily peel your holy paladin if needed. You can just fear the warrior whenever you need to peel and CS the holy paladin to deny his dispel on warrior. So your holy paladin can just freedom himself and live another go. You can also Shadow Flame Warrior and CS Paladin to achieve similar peel. Or Fear Paladin and Shadow Flame Warrior. If Warrior has no Berserker Rage, you can even Howl of Terror it. And don't forget to switch your armor to Demon Armor when the Warrior is going on you. Examples. Let's summarize what we learned with a few clips. Let's watch the first clip. So in this clip, as you can see, the warrior is tunneling me. Take a look at my paladin positioning. My paladin is creating space for a possible switch. And as you can see, the warrior switched to my paladin who is max ranging the enemy healer. So right now, I'm in between the warrior and the holy paladin, which is the best case scenario when it comes about positioning. So I can start pressuring the warrior. And when the enemy healer mounted up and started closing the gap, my paladin moved even deeper, so enemy healer has to leave the pillar, which is exactly what he did. So I could cast a fear on him and continue with my rotation. Since the warrior, instead of stopping me, is creating a huge pressure on my healer, we end up trading bubbles from each other. So what's happening is the warrior is switched back on me. I instantly creating space and dragging the warrior to max range. And since the warrior is tunneling me, I switch up my armor to demon armor to increase my healing taken. The goal was to waste a few more seconds before my form is ready up for my final go. I ported, and because of that, the warrior is once again started tunneling my healer. I tried to land the fear on paladin, but he hodged just at the right time. Since I couldn't land the fear, my healer is moving up and waited the paladin leave the pillar. And when it finally happens, I could land the fear and prepare our final go. But as usual, I had the unluckiest fear path, so I couldn't refear, and because of that, the paladin could pre-sacred shield himself before the combo. I still tried to finish the game, so I tried my own combo, which was charge into coil and hope for the best. Since my paladin couldn't follow with a hodge, for a sec it looked like it's a fair go. But eventually, he could use his hodge, what I could follow up with my DR fear, and pray for a huge crit to win the game. But take a look at this moment. The warrior has kick and intercept to interrupt my cast. But we have Bob and Aura Master to counter it. My paladin was playing so patient and he used his Aura Master just in the right time before I could get a kick. And since I had a huge crew with my Soulfire, my paladin could finish the game. So as you can see, with a good positioning, you can win the game. In the next clip, I wanna show you how to take advantage of a map, which has multiple levels like Terror Arena or Blade Edge Arena. So as you can see, I instantly charge to the boxes and place my portal up and instantly jump down. The warrior wanted to switch to Paladin, so he jumped down as well. After that, the warrior decided to jump into us. And that moment, I could just port up and start pressuring the warrior. And because of that positioning error from the warrior paladin, the paladin had to leave the pillar. And here we go again. I could land the fear and start doing my burst rotation. I could even cast the proc instantly to min-max my burst damage, and we ended up using the CS into Hodge combo here, and we could force the bubble with that ease. And the last clip is my most famous clip ever. We were facing against rank 1 players. Since this game was 10 minutes long, I'm gonna break it down with a few shorter parts. At the opener, our idea was we force out the Berserker Rage, and after that we either set up on Warrior, who was behind LOS, and potentially force the war, or if the Paladin decide to push out for a Dispel, then we set up on Paladin. And the first part of the plan worked, cause I could force the Berserker Rage out. However, before I could land the Refair, he used his Brainstorm to avoid that. I instantly parked my pet and switch armor to help my paladin healing back this cleave damage. And during this, as you can see, the enemy paladin pushed for a hodge. So I casted Fear on Warrior, who has dots up as well, and instantly poured back to land the Fear on Pala. I started casting on Pala, but the Warrior interrupted my Immolate. Because of that, I could easily refear and apply it on that window. My Pala could follow with a Hodge and I could use Koya plus CS combo, and we could force a Trinket and bubble out with the same go. So we skip a bit, and in this part you can see I'm pushing in the middle for a setup on Paladin. In the meantime, my hero started dragging the Warrior max range. And once again, I'm in the best position ever. The Warrior is getting low, and the enemy Paladin needs to push, so we can actually unalive anybody there. The Paladin hodged me for avoid fear, but I instantly dispelled myself so I could land the fear. Since Warrior has Void Steel, we had to go on Pala. Unfortunately, we had lack of damage to finish the game, but we forced a major CD from Warrior, which was the wall. So if we can land one more setup on anybody, we can unalive any of the chosen target. But like I said, it's gonna be a 10-minute game, so you could guess it, we failed. At least at first. So let's jump into the next part of the game. So as you can see, the Warrior forced my Paladin's bubble, and after that he switched back on me. I ported to reset and push for a setup on Paladin to force at least a bubble out again. Otherwise, we would have lost the game since my Paladin was almost and out of CDs as well. So I had to make the push. The Paladin hodged me and I couldn't dispel myself with dual magic, so I had to use my Trinket, which is bad since we had no pop for potential fear on intercept interruption. But if I wouldn't Trinket, we might not land the fear on the Paladin. So we had to take that gamble. But once again, we had no luck this time as well. Because the fear broke at the worst time ever, so Paladin could pre-sacred shield himself before the go, and my Paladin hodged a bit too early as well. Also, I didn't have the Demonic Pact proc, neither any Trinket proc at this go. So this was a bad go. But we had to try it and hope for the best. The enemy Pala only used his Trinket and Divine Sacrifice, which isn't enough for a win. I switched back to Warrior and suddenly I get my 2 proc what I needed. The Demonic Pact proc and the Trinket proc. So what I was thinking, maybe I can still force the Paladin's bubble out. So when I had a chance, I feared the Paladin and start casting on him. I had a small combo on him and I could blanket CS him before he could top himself up with his CDs. And that was a game changer moment. Although my Pala was still in trouble, we knew if we can survive somehow, we have a huge chance again to win the game. So I tried to pair for my Pala immediately. So let's watch the last part of the clip. I used my port for reset. The Warrior switched to my Paladin, who again tried to drag the Warrior to max range. So I could push up and we were in a great position to finish the game. Again, as you can see, I had to Trinket the Hodge, but this time we had both for any interruption from the Warrior, so it wouldn't matter at all. During the burst, the enemy Pala used his Trinket on the Hodge, so I could coil him into my charge to finish up the game. I'm gonna show you a few more clips to see. The key is for a win is actually the positioning. Meanwhile you're gonna watch this, try to focus on the positioning part. Enjoy.
Feathers been calling, my enemies stalling, my people been balling, my team we been wildin'. Counted 100, we use basic tools. Strategies moving where we gotta move. There wasn't no option, no time on the clock, and no setting it back, and we gotta get profit. I'm standing on top of the glory, the road. We was just rebels and do what was told. When they asked me how we leveled up, without us getting stuck, we just muscled up. This game spin, no one gotta tighten up, gotta muscle up, or you will get stuck in this game. I'm ballin' on top of that mountain, I'm on and I'm calling my mama to tell her I'm good. I'm surrounded by family like back in the hood. I was falling from grace, I was misunderstood. And the pressure would sit you right down, but I stood up. I mean what I say and I say what I mean. On the balcony screaming, they just let me be. B had to slow it down. What goes around comes around. Oh, the frequency different now. I was going through different rounds. Hey, it's crazy, the progress is hitting now. Ain't no sitting and lost and found. I found what I lost in a minute now. I was on the wrong path, I admit it now. My only option was to get it now.
I got it on both and I learned from the losses. My failure was friendship, I saw it was costing. Started like everyone had certain tools. Only difference is I knew what to do. Now everyone calling when progress is stalling. My stock is missing, my life getting boring. Ain't no more hitting me up when you lose. When it's time to wake up, see you hitting the snooze.
When they ask me how we leveled up, without us getting stuck, we just muscled up. This game spin, no one got it.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a lot from it. Comment down what you wanna see next. And once again, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.